Hi, welcome to 30 Frames a Second. This week we had a heartwarming show for you, but of course, Donald Trump preempted that. So don't go anywhere. This is 30 Frames a Second. We'll be right back.
And we're tired of what's going on with everybody trying to tear our statues down and destroying the Confederacy, and we're tired of it.
This represents a turning point for the people of this country. We are determined to take our country back. We're going to fulfill the promises of Donald Trump. That's what we believed in. That's why we voted for Donald Trump, because he said he's going to take our country back, and that's what we got to do.
Oh my God, badly hurt. Badly hurt. We need paramedics right now. Holy shit. A car just drove into people, causing a multi-chain accident.
Fuck that shit, Drake!
Somebody might be dead, folks. Somebody might. Holy shit.
Come on, man.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama. This has been going on for a long, long time. It has no place in America. What is vital now is a swift restoration of law and order and the protection of innocent lives. No citizen should ever fear for their safety and security in our society, and no child should ever be afraid to go outside and play or be with their parents and have a good time. I just got off the phone with the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, and we agreed that the hate and the division must stop, and must stop right now. We have to come together as Americans with love for our nation and true affection, really, and I say this so strongly, true affection for each other. Our country is doing very well in so many ways. We have record, just absolute record employment. We have unemployment, the lowest it's been in almost 17 years. We have companies pouring into our country, Foxconn and car companies and so many others. They're coming back to our country. We're renegotiating trade deals to make them great for our country and great for the American worker. We have so many incredible things happening in our country. So when I watch Charlottesville, to me it's very, very sad. I want to salute the great work of the state and local police in Virginia, incredible people, law enforcement, incredible people, and also the National Guard. They've really been working smart and working hard. They've been doing a terrific job. Federal authorities are also providing tremendous support to the governor. He thanked me for that. And we are here to provide whatever other assistance is needed. We are ready, willing, and able. Above all else, we must remember this truth. No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first. We love our country. We love our God. We love our flag. We're proud of our country. We're proud of who we are. So we want to get the situation straightened out in Charlottesville, and we want to study it. And we want to see what we're doing wrong as a country where things like this can happen. My administration is restoring the sacred bonds of loyalty between this nation and its citizens. But our citizens must also restore the bonds of trust and loyalty between one another. We must love each other, respect each other, and cherish our history and our future together. So important. We have to respect each other. Ideally, we have to love each other.
I will not abrogate my right to defend the United States under any circumstance.
And the host, of course, Greg Lasser, here with no other than the great Nat Wood.
Your television set, you are fortunate enough to have tuned in to 30 frames a second.
You have spun that into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy.
Well, welcome back to 30 Frames a Second. I'm your co-host, Greg Lassiter, here with the creator of himself, Nat Wood. Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Brother, what a weekend. What a weekend.
Yes.
What you just saw, as you know, what's happening or what happened in Charlottesville is the most outlandish, crazy insanity that I've ever seen. Which makes it more crazy is that Trump, when it happened, it took him a few hours to even address the nation.
Well, Trump's in a pickle. If you were watching, and you certainly can't call it fake news because everything came from the news. I actually didn't offer any viewpoint of my own in it, but I did show all the principles, and showing the principles and what happened in and of itself comes out like a viewpoint. But Trump has surrounded himself by Nazis and alt-right people. I mean, he has Steve Bannon. He has freaking Zeb Gorka. Zeb Gorka was wearing these medals. They asked him about these medals that he was wearing from the Vatizzi Wren. Now, the Vatizzi Wren was he said he was honoring his father, his Nazi sympathizing father, I guess, if he was part of the Vatizzi Wren. But the Vatizzi Wren was this group in Hungary that was basically more than white supremacist. A Nazi is more than a white supremacist. It defines white. It has a pecking order of white. It's not just universal white. You know. And that's the Vatizzi Wren. I think they call themselves the chivalrous ones or some stuff like that. But it's something very, very white. And very, very Nazi.
And very, very racist.
Very, very racist. But it's beyond racist. Is racist within the white race. It's a pecking order of white. That's the thing about Nazism. Nazism is not redneckism or clanism, because clans, we all.
Well, it's all white supremacy, though.
It's all white supremacy. But Nazism is like, after we get rid of all the other races, we're the group of whites that will
but see, this is what
lord over you lesser whites.
But this is what happens. This is where these ignorant Klansmen They think
Correct.
that they think that they want to support Nazism.
Correct.
But Nazism can't stand them.
Correct.
So that blows my mind. Oh yeah, hi Hitler. Well, Hitler doesn't. You weren't included in that.
Correct.
You know, it blows my mind that that's how ignorant these people are.
Correct.
You know, and Donald Trump. See, this is what still floors me, Nat. Is this? The people on the congressmen, the senators, the left and the right, who says America encompasses all of us. But yet, no, let's just go with that for a second. But yet, look what Trump has surrounded himself with in the White House. There's no buts, no ifs about it. These are white supremacies. It's white supremacy. That's those people that he surrounded himself with. And nobody saying anything.
And I don't know how he ended up with Zeb Gorka's military ass. I mean, he's just horrible. He's like some sort of goose stepper from World War I. I mean, he treats everybody. He talks to people like he's the general, and the rest of the world is his personal buck private.
Right.
You know, and it's like I don't know what little Transylvanian country you come from, you know.
But see, I think Capitol Hill has been too quiet. Now the Democrats need to. Now the Republicans already say we don't care. We're going to do what we want. Why isn't the Democrats stepped up and say, "Oh no, push back"?
The Republicans they don't know what the hell they want. They are stuck. Everybody is stuck with this gig. Everybody is stuck with. Donald Trump got stuck with this gig. He was having a good time. He messed up a perfectly lovely life. He was getting paid buckets of money. Doing shtick. Every now and then he'd do a little wrestling thing. Take a picture with some KKK. He was fine. He was loving his life. They started laughing at his jokes. They started taking him seriously as an entertainer within the political system.
He was a buffoon.
Since John Kennedy, really, it has been totally the cult of personality. Even Barack Obama was a personality because he fit a specific image that they wanted to fill. He was perfect. He was young. He was handsome. He was eloquent. He was well-read, Harvard grad, black guy. I mean, he was the coming of the new world. Donald Trump, through the help of people like Alex Jones and Breitbart and freaking Hannity. Hannity is in there with him.
Absolutely.
And their control over the most ignorant, Twinkie fried and bacon fat, redneck.
But see what the thing of it is. You've got all these people in power that's just not saying anything. They're supposed to be true Americans, but no one has stood up and said, Trump, shut up, say this. I don't understand that.
There's a Game of Thrones within the Game of Thrones. Just like Game of Thrones. As a matter of fact, Game of Thrones is not even really does not do justice to this show that's going on, because there are power moves within power moves within power moves.
Backdoor deals.
So yes, it is true that the Trump administration wants ultimate victory. But within the Trump administration, you have all of these factions that are fighting for control, that are actually opposed to one another. Trump has surrounded himself by sycophants,
Right,
but
right.
they all have their own agendas.
Right, and they don't like him.
They don't like anybody.
Hence why this administration has so many leaks out of the White House.
Right,
You
right.
know? So they said, you know what? So you're not going to play my game. Well, we're going to screw up your game by leaking all this information.
I mean, they have fired. I've never seen any group of people get fired I mean,
This is only 7 months. It's 7 months, Nat. 7 months.
I thought white folks fired me fast, but I've never seen anything like it.
You've never been fired, though, so.
You know, well, you're white folks.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
You're
There you
the
go.
firer.
You know what? I'm going to let that one go. I'm going to let that one go. I'm going to let that one go.
No,
Because you know what?
I just, well, you're quite black. You know.
I'm very black.
You're quite
Don't let
black.
my smooth taste fool you.
However, you've always been very, very entrepreneurial
Right,
and very
sure.
successful at
Thank
it.
you, yes.
I, on the other hand,
So have you. So have you. Don't even try that.
Yes, but
Don't even
I
try
had to work my way up to the
So did I.
class.
So did I.
It's like, boy, are you black? And I'm like, no, I'm actually quite light. But I have been fired. I have worked jobs where the guy who was like the boss of the job would sit there like the Sultan, and because somebody sucked their teeth out of. He
You're
would fire the whole department. No, not just fire them. You know, like
Clean house.
yeah, you know. And I have to walk home and tell my old lady who cussed me out going out. She's gonna cuss me out coming in. You know,
Because you got fired.
Because I got fired.
Right.
I finally get a job and get fired the next day. But that's the Trump administration.
Right.
The Trump is, Scaramouche was there like 10 days. And within 10 days, not only did he get fired, he was able to assess people within the administration.
Right. Was he there that long?
Yes, 10 days. And within that 10 days, he was able to get people fired, 2 people fired coming into the thing.
Right.
Priebus, he got,
Right, Priebus,
and the guy who would do the speaking. What's his name? Sarah Huckabee's predecessor.
I know who you're talking about. Sean.
Right,
Spicer.
Got them fired, coming in, and then within like a week's time, was able to assess the fact that
Bannon.
Priebus was an effing paranoiac. And Bannon was sucking his own thing. You know.
But he was that crude. So he.
But it was a crude, racist. Everybody had their own agenda type place.
And
you know.
And then he got fired.
Right.
Then he got fired. Right. See, this administration. First of all, our country can't keep this up.
Right.
Definitely not for 4 years.
McMaster, they just had McMaster on TV on Sunday asking him, they asked him 3 times, can you get along with Bannon? And he was like, well, the sky is blue. And
they don't answer the question.
Right, he will not answer the question. But is Bannon a good, well, you know, what is good? What is evil? You know.
But see, what I don't understand, if any of these guys sat across from us,
right.
We like this. You didn't answer the question. Reporters are not that aggressive, and I don't know why.
Well, you can only ask a person a question like 2-3 times max, and then you got to move on because it's obvious that obfuscation is their thing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they have a term for it. They call it deflecting.
Right. Right. Misdirected.
Right. Whatever the
Right.
question is, you bring it back to something else.
Right,
You
right.
just flat out have been trained. It's
Right.
It's not an accident. It's not coincidental.
Right.
You have been trained not to answer questions that you are uncomfortable with.
But
Trump doesn't know how to deflect.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he. It's not that he has no filter. He has no filter for one.
Right.
I just think he's just straight ignorant.
He
He's
is.
just straight ignorant.
He is.
It's not that people. He's a
He
bully
is.
and he's straight ignorant. There's nothing cerebral about him.
Right.
He is a character.
Right,
That's all
right,
he is.
right,
And he's
right.
not. People think because you have money, you're smart.
No.
He's far from smart.
No.
I personally, I'm gonna say this on the
no,
record.
no.
I personally don't think he can read.
If he can read, they don't give him good words.
He's a horrible teleprompter reader, right?
We do a show. People who watch know that we do Community Cop,
Right.
and
Right after
there's a brother in there, Julian Harper, and
Right.
Julian Harper trains a lot. He's in magnificent physical condition. And he said something that I never thought about, but it's actually quite true. He said, a lot of people think practice makes perfect.
No,
it doesn't.
not far from-
Practice makes habit.
Right.
If you're practicing wrong, you learn wrong.
Right. That's exactly right.
And you will replicate the wrong learning over and over and over again.
Right.
And it's actually the truth. Donald Trump has spent so much time being Donald Trump that you can't get him to be anything else.
Right. But it blows my mind that no one has stepped up. No one has stepped up, Nat, to say.
I think a bunch of people have stepped up. I don't think anybody can control it.
He can be controlled.
He tweets at 3 o'clock in the morning. And who gonna sleep with his ass? He can't get Melania to sleep with his ass. She moved all the. He came to New York just to torture her ass because she was like, I'm not going there.
Guys, if you see our city right now because he came in, you can't even walk down. You can't, much less drive. You can't walk down Fifth Avenue.
He's very inconsiderate.
But you know what, Nat? I want to bring it to this point that we had a conversation earlier, and I know some of our African American viewers voted for Donald Trump. Okay. I said to Nat earlier today, Nat, an African American or anybody of color who voted for Donald Trump subscribes to white supremacy. But Nat put it in a different way. And the way you put that, Nat, explain that.
It's not that black people who voted for Trump subscribe to white supremacy. They actually subscribe to black inferiority.
Good point.
They are desperately seeking to prove that they are not like the other blacks.
Right.
And there's a lot of that going around. It's not subscribing to white supremacy. It's rejecting blackness.
That's crazy, though. That's insane.
It is insane. It is insane.
But in essence, what you're saying, Nat, is that black person or that brown person who voted for Donald Trump looks and seeks white approval, or acceptance.
Right.
And I have a problem. I have a major problem with that because those kind of people are dangerous. They're the Uncle Toms.
Right.
They're the Uncle Toms that will sell you out just to get the approval. Personally, it's that slave mentality.
But it is the slave mentality. It's the worst part of it is that they don't see. When I'm from Harlem, when you sell people out, it's generally for money and it's generally premeditated.
Right.
You know you selling out.
Right.
These people don't know they're selling out. They really subscribe to black inferiority.
Wow.
And in point of fact, they believe that by definition, everything that comes from black is inherently inferior.
Right.
And the only
deep.
way you can, right, it is deep. It
That's
is
deep.
It is deep.
Because
It
you
is
look
deep.
at look at the African Americans that look at Clarence Thomas,
Right,
Ben Carson.
right.
Both are products before us,
Right.
so they had to go through the system,
right.
and they knew
Right.
how it is to be rejected.
Right, right,
And Clarence Thomas was the head of EEOC.
right.
So for him to want to get rid of something that he had it to just how he came up.
Correct, correct,
And now he's saying it's a bad thing.
correct, correct,
What goes through these guys' mind that
Correct.
okay, they don't think they're black anymore?
correct. There's a lot of things because of things like police, deranged psychotic police with a total disdain for blacks. A lot of blacks who had committed no crimes, had no weapons, were ending up dead.
Right.
I mean, Freddie Gray literally had his spine severed for a crime that was...
There was no crime.
There was no crime.
Right.
It was basically reckless eyeballing
A policeman, a white man.
in the public domain. It's
Right,
not even
right.
reckless eyeballing, which was something that was originally designed for the prison system.
Right.
But he wasn't in prison. He was out in the street.
Right.
You can recklessly eyeball
You
anyone
can
you
anybody,
want.
right,
You
right.
know,
That's correct.
In
He
a
ended up
place.
dead.
But he literally had his back severed. Eric Garner
Right.
was literally overwhelmed by superior forces. There was a whole bunch of them. You know, one guy choked him out, but he was literally
Right.
surrounded by an adversarial army.
Right. For what? Alleged.
There's a lot of black people, especially black people who have some investment, who are vested in fitting in to the white world
Right.
in terms of feeding their family, paying their mortgage. A lot of them are just vested because they believe that this is when you put on a damn suit,
right.
you know,
Right.
and you pronounce your words with T's. T's. He went to the store.
He went to the stove.
That somehow that in and of itself elevates you to some status that you were lacking when you didn't do these things.
But that's a false sense of security.
That is a false sense of security. There's a lot of there was a lot of things where they were talking about teaching your children what to do if stopped by the police.
Right.
There's nothing to do if you have taught your child to be a reasonable person, a reasonable, intelligent person.
Right.
There is nothing to do when stopped by the police other than to treat them with respect,
Right.
expect them to treat you with respect.
Right. Comply.
Right. But not comply like, oh, if the police stop you, you got to get down and kiss him on the butt.
No, just sit there
You
and-
are a man, he is a man.
Right.
If he asks you for something, reply, but lawfully and legally.
Right.
Don't just like comply because he's coming from a position of superiority.
No, right.
He's not coming
No.
from a superiority.
No.
He has some authority, but that authority is based upon a job that he is assigned to do
Right.
in terms of serving the public and ultimately being a law enforcement officer.
Right.
It does not mean he is a superior
Right.
person. It also does not mean that you just supposed to drop your drawers
Right.
every time.
Right. Right.
This man thinks.
Right. And I tell people this. You know what? When you're approached by a cop
Right.
on the street or in your car, that fight you can't win. You can't win that fight then.
But see, again, I said it before. Respect.
Right.
I give to you. Respect is your right.
Right.
It's trust that must be earned.
Right.
I don't treat police officers any different than I treat homeless people.
Right.
I treat people with respect.
Right.
It's not something that it's not fear.
Right.
Kindness is not weakness, and respect is not fear.
Right.
I don't treat policemen
Any different.
any different
Right.
than anyone else.
Right.
When I was covering press conferences at City Hall, you got to go through the place, you got to
Right.
get searched or whatnot.
Right, right.
He asked, "Can he see the bag?" Of course, you could see the
Right,
bag.
right,
You know,
right.
whatever you ask. You have a microphone in there? Yes, sir. I smile in it, but it's not for fear.
No,
it's,
he's
it's
doing his
man
job.
to man,
Right, and he's doing his job.
Human to human.
Right.
I am
respecting your
right.
job. Right.
I'm respecting you as a human being and respecting the job that you have to do.
That's
I'm
exactly
not trying
right.
to complicate matters. I don't have to go to a special workshop
Right,
to learn how to respect people.
And that's what the problem is, Nat. You know what? You give the a lot of people don't think like we.
Right.
You don't have to earn your respect from me.
Right, right.
I'm giving you respect.
Correct.
Until
correct.
you disrespect me.
Correct.
Then-
you have
then it's
to
a whole
earn
nother-
disrespect
right,
from me.
that's exactly right.
Right. You have to physically
So-
do something to make me say,
Right. So when a police officer tell people all the time,
Right.
I don't fear anybody.
Correct.
I definitely don't fear the
Correct.
police.
Correct.
If he stops me,
Correct.
I comply. You know, I'm gonna give him respect like I hope he gives me.
Correct.
And I go from that. There's no reason.
And if he comes at me, antagonistically, instinctively and intelligently, I know he has superior firepower and he
Right.
has superior authority. So I generally don't say anything.
Right,
I wait
exactly.
for the storm to go over, and once I'm out of the storm,
Then you
I make a decision as how to handle this.
And
But I
that's-
do not confront superior firepower with belligerence.
And I'm glad you said that
Yeah.
because I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
When you approached, and if somehow
Right.
he or she takes it to that other level,
Correct.
do not amp and go to that level with them.
Correct.
Because you can't win.
Correct. But and that has nothing to do with the police. This is a survival technique
Right.
that I learned growing up in the streets of New York.
Right,
When you
right.
are surrounded by an enemy, by an adversarial force,
Right.
You don't spit in the wind.
No.
You know,
'Cause it's gonna come right back on you.
Right. Your first priority is to get out of there alive.
Right.
Stay aware of your circumstances. Stay aware of who's around you. Stay aware of the consequences. Once you are out of that circumstance, you then can rationally make a decision, how do I want to deal with this? Do I want to avoid that side of town? Do I want to make these people pay for this? Whatever it is, I make that decision once I am out of the kill zone.
Now let me ask you something. Giving the black unarmed people that have been killed by police, in your opinion, do you think like if Eric Garner would have complied, would not taken, because he was surrounded by adversarial sources for resources.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Could he have changed the situation?
No.
There was a no-win situation.
No. Eric Garner had unfortunately wandered into a kill zone, and he was going to be taken down. And because he had size on him, he was going to be perceived as a threat. I don't think Eric Garner did anything that warranted what ultimately happened to him.
Right.
And that's a reality. When you are surrounded by an adversarial force, that's the primary reason that you don't want to escalate stuff,
Right.
because they are out of control and looking for something. But I don't think there was anything that Eric Garner did. I don't think there was anything that Sandra Bland did.
Right.
I don't think there was anything that Freddie Gray did. I don't think there was anything that Philando Castile did
Right.
that would have changed the ultimate outcome.
Right.
However, I don't go through a long, heated process of instructing my grandson on what to do if stopped by the police.
Right.
My focus is to try to make my grandson a respectable, intelligent young man, and give him the skill sets required to make it from point A to point B in life.
Yes.
But there will be times that through no fault of your own, you know,
things will happen.
Things will happen.
But see, yeah, are you for? I'm not, because like you say, I taught my kids this, how to be respectful, just in general.
Correct.
Just in general.
Correct.
So I've never had to sit down and say, this is how you need to act to come home alive.
Right.
What's your feeling about parents doing that?
I think that first of all, you lead by example.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of us don't have good examples, and we learn from the streets, from the world around.
Right.
And the world around is dysfunctional. It is anti-education. It is anti-information. It is anti all the things that you wish for your children. Mm-hmm. The world at large holds those things in utter disdain.
Right.
So one of the things that's very important is we have to re-educate ourselves to deal with this systemic breakdown of society. Right. We've allowed the society at large to drag us into its dysfunction.
Right.
And that is our weakness, because they have the white society has all the rules heavily weighted in their favor.
Right.
The only thing that we can use to combat this aggression is intelligence and respect, and getting back to who we
originally are. Right.
Who we originally are.
Right.
And that has been complicated by the fact that we have allowed our adults to become children.
And that's what that's the problem.
It's exacerbated by that.
Getting back to that, like, you look at the group of people, the anti-protesters, in Charlottesville.
Right.
The makeup of those were 85% white.
Right.
Right. And like, what, maybe 15% black or 10% black, something like that.
Right.
What does that say? What does it say? What does it say about black Americans?
We don't have our head in the game.
Right.
We don't have our head in the game. We have acquiesced to the inevitability of inferiority, and we are not inferior.
Right.
We have bought into this talking point, this image of black people that is basically one that has been given to us through those who control media, white folks who control media. We've bought into that stuff,
and it's crazy,
even though it has nothing to do with us.
Right, and that's why I said. I remember I called you on Saturday. And I'm like, I'll fire up the jet. You ready to go?
Right.
Because it's more. We need, It's unfortunate. It was after the fact once we got on.
Right.
But when I'm looking at looking at TV and the anti-protesters, that's a very little black people.
That is correct.
And that's right there. I'm like, I grew up in Virginia. Well, I went to school in Virginia, and UVA was one of the first colleges I applied to.
Right.
And that town it's not all white.
And see, no.
Charlottesville is not all white at all.
And again, white folks came loaded for bear.
Right.
Because they had no vested interest in this damn statue one way or another.
Right.
The city council of Charlottesville voted to take the statue out.
Right.
What the hell has that got to do with the KKK, neo-Nazis?
Right.
You know,
Right.
that ain't got nothing to do with your town.
Right.
The reason why anti-protesters came had nothing to do with the statue.
Right.
They came to combat Nazism.
It's a white supremacy.
Remember the sign, the white girl holding the sign, I can't believe I'm protesting Nazis. You know, I can't believe this stuff.
Right.
You know, in 2017, I'm out here protesting Nazis.
Nazism.
What the hell? You know.
But you think about it, though.
But again, we have gotten to a place where we comply. We have acquiesced. We have become so used to acquiescing. One of the things that I totally despise, is when black people say there's nothing we can do.
That's crazy.
If we do this, white folks gonna do this. I don't listen. First of all, even if that crap is true,
right.
I don't need you saying that to my troops.
Right.
I don't need you telling. You are not helping. Constantly reinforcing the fact that we can't win.
Right. You've already defeated.
But you've never fought.
Right.
You never fought.
Right.
Most of the people who say stuff like this are people who have jobs in white folksville, and have never had to teach themselves, scuffle for themselves, or learn for themselves. I've been fighting all my damn life.
Yeah,
so if you tell me I can't win, well, hell, they never let me in. They let your ass in. You sitting here talking about how many degrees you got. They didn't let me into the elitist schools. They never liked me because I was always one of them smart Negroes.
And you could just tell me anything. If you tell me something and I feel I'm a question.
That is correct.
That's the way I grew up.
And I was never looking to get in.
Or be accepted.
I was always concentrating on my own thing anyway. You know,
that's exactly
I was always like, what? You know, but we have gotten to the place where we have acquiesced. We have acquiesced so long that we actually believe this stuff, so we don't fight.
It's passive. It's passive.
I don't even know. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it.
Because think about this. Think about the 60s where we were on the forefront fighting for equality.
Yeah.
Our forefathers died. Some of our parents, parents' friends. I remember the 60s extremely well, and my father, being in the military, was still out in the forefront. April 4th, 1968, I was 5 years old, I was 7 years old, flew from Boston on that day to Washington, D.C. to be a part of that.
I don't mind that you don't think my plan will work. But I do mind you not coming up with a plan.
Right.
So people who say voting doesn't do anything, fine. What's the plan? You don't have a plan. The people who say protesting doesn't do anything. Fine. What's the plan? You don't have a plan. And the plan can be as simple as, like I said, you lead by example. You have life skills. Take your damn life skills. There are a lot of kids out there who need your life skills. Life skills. You some sort of karate man. Teach them kids some karate.
Use what you have.
Use what you have
to teach the young.
That is correct. That is correct. You got a house. You pay a mortgage. You've learned financial skills. How many positive things are you doing so that we have a more representative army at our disposal than we have?
And that's why, you know what, Nat, I was speaking to some youngsters last week. And I was thinking, I had about 20 of them. Guys, what do you want to be when you grow up? No, everybody said the same thing. Either want to be a basketball star, football star, or rapper. Guess what? We have enough NBA players, NFL players. What we don't have enough of, engineers, mathematicians, scientists.
STEM. The jobs are in STEM: science, technology, engineering, and math. But forget about jobs. My grandson, and I have to fight with a lot of people, you know, because they like old world, third world, and they think it. But I have a buttload full of skills, and I impart those skills on my grandchildren. But I never impart on them what their destiny should be.
Right.
However, there is no disadvantage to learning stuff. So come out, grab your camera, hang out with Granddad. I'll show you the difference between dynamic range and
your grandson did that.
Correct. I'll
Here,
show you how to edit footage. I'll show you how to play the damn piano. I'll show you how to put up sheetrock and hook up your damn place so it look like a mansion, even though you ain't got no money. None of these things prohibit you from playing basketball, prohibit you from flying airplanes, prohibit you from opening up a drugstore. None of them. What your destiny is, I leave to you. Like I said, we have a lot of life skills, but we are sticking them up our butt and imparting nothing but negativity on our children.
And that's great. That has to stop.
That has to stop.
And
that has to stop.
And I say
the only way to stop it is to confront it, which means that I tend to make enemies.
You and me both.
But I tend to make friends.
But
I'm not out to make either.
And this is what I have to say to parents. Talk to your children with some dignity. That's where it starts, because if you don't respect your child, one, she's not going to respect you, and they're not going to respect anything in the world.
They're doing work in my building. They're actually like skim coating the entire hallway. It looks real good. Indeed, everyone in there is working is Mexican. Or
Hispanic.
Well, Latino. But they don't look. They appear to be more Mexican looking than Puerto Rican looking, or even Dominican looking.
Ecuadorian.
Salvadorians. But they are Latin. But this is the deal. You talk about them coming in, taking your jobs, but they got their skills from the cradle. They got their skills handed down to them since they were kids. They know their craft. They are hitting 4 buildings, and they're hitting them in record time, and the work is excellent work.
And they work ethic.
That is correct.
Work ethic.
That is correct. Even if you don't get the job, the skills are yours for life.
That's
so you don't have, no matter where you end up, you can hook it up because you have these kind of skills. You are not totally dependent upon the system to provide for you. The system, even if the system does not let you in, it cannot destroy you because you have skills. You can pick up a buck from time to time. You can change your surroundings. You can change your circumstance. We are not imparting these kind of gifts on our children. Blacks, people in the African diaspora who come from other countries are more inclined to teach their children life skills from the cradle than we are. We think we too damn good for everything, including the stuff that we know how to do.
And this is what this is the way I've always thought. Growing up, my parents says, you know what? Figure out the system. See, figure out how the system works. One, know this, you can't beat the system. 2, make the system work for you. 3, anticipate change.
I've been to the Caribbean, I've been to Asia, I've been to a lot of tropical places. And one thing I will say, people learn how to survive and use nature from the cradle.
Right.
I mean, if you go to a Pacific island, you better believe there's some kids up on the damn top of the mountain jumping off into the water like it's nothing.
Right. They grew up swimming.
Right.
Right.
They can hold their breath for 3 minutes. They
Right.
can ride horses.
Right.
I mean, I've been all through the Caribbean. Black folks be riding bareback, galloping on the beach like it's nothing. They know how to fish like it's nothing. These are life skills that they have been taught from the cradle.
Where was I?
From the cradle.
I was in Bora Bora, a place called Vepiete in Bora Bora.
Right.
These people built their own houses.
That is correct. That is correct.
They were self-sufficient,
That is
not
correct.
dependent on any type of government.
That is correct. So when you see people standing on the top of a building, construction workers from islands and countries that you forever cussing out, and you look up and they standing there like it's nothing, and you scared of heights. I'm serious. They conquered this fear literally by the time they could walk.
Right. They had no fear.
They have no fear,
No fear
and they were
whatsoever.
taught no fear. They were taught not to even consider fear. The fear wasn't even in the equation.
Right.
So they can get the job done.
Right.
There was a time when we could get the job done.
Absolutely.
Almost everything that this country relies on to sustain itself,
Came from
we
us.
taught them.
Yeah, came from us.
The South didn't even know what the hell to do with slaves because they couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Suddenly you get these slaves. I mean, they were gonna send us back to Africa until we started planting rice and okra and stuff. And they're like, oh, stuff. There's something I can do with this land.
But yet, the Caucasian always call us lazy. But think about this, Nat, for one, because I know time is running out.
Yeah.
You get on a ship, travel to another continent to enslave a bunch of people, bring them back to your country to do your work, but yet we're lazy.
Whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad.
Right?
You have to reinforce negative stereotype. And I know we're running out of time. The invention of race, the concept of race was invented.
Right.
And it was invented by cats like Carl von Linnaeus, this Swedish guy who came up with, all of this stuff came out of slavery.
Right.
Even the economic system came from Scottish guys and Swedes who came to the United States and perpetrated this thing. But it wasn't enough to enslave people, because a lot of times there were more slaves than white folks in places like South Carolina. So you had to get the slave to acquiesce to the slave owner slave condition.
Right.
And the best way to do that is by defeating the mind and the spirit.
Right. Break your spirit first.
Break your spirit.
Right.
So Carl von Linnaeus didn't actually just identify four different races. Cats like Samuel Cartwright turned it into 3 races. But Carl von Linnaeus, when he first came up with the concept of race, he had 4 races: Homo Europaeus, Homo Asiaticus, Homo Americanus, which was the indigenous American Indians and stuff like that, and Homo Afro. He didn't just come up with 4 races; he came up with attributes for all the races, and he taught those attributes. So you learn about yourself through this invention that was specifically designed to suck up your spirit and your mind.
That is well said. You couldn't have said it any better. That was well said. It's crazy because that today you see how divided
Right.
we are
Right.
as a
Right.
race.
Right. Right.
And we're still it's not that slave mentality.
Right.
Just because you're not a physical slave,
Correct.
you're a mental slave.
Correct. Correct.
You're a mental slave.
A physical slave is not a slave. A physical slave is a captive.
Right. But look, what we got? Okay, I'm
Oh yeah.
We're close.
Oh yeah. They almost like they look like they're on the same. Oh
No,
wow.
no, that's yours a little. That's a little
I'm
slow.
a second off, so but it's your show.
But listen, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching us. We really, really appreciate you, and we bring it to you every week, uncut. And I think the people that approached me, a gang of people, bum rushed me last week when I left, to say they appreciate what we're doing here. And they were not all black people; they were mostly white people.
No.
So we have a great audience, and I love being here. Next week, I won't be here.
Yeah.
It's my
Neither
birthday
will I.
next week. We won't be
Yeah,
here.
it is his birthday.
I'll be 30.
Yeah. Times 3.
But you're still older. But I always want to say this, guys. You know what? I want to thank you. Really, really appreciate that. I appreciate you so much. We got big things happening at 30 frames a second. I'm not going to tell you too much, but we're taking it to the whole.
Yeah,
another level.
we are obviously television producers.
Right.
But again, we are the complete package, and we're going to bring more and more of that package to the front.
Guys, you have no clue what's in store.
Yeah.
It's blowing my mind. Because we're just going to make this happen so quick. And you know.
But it's your show.
But it's
your
and I tell
show.
you guys this.
You're the reason why we
if
keep
you
trying.
want to say something to us, you can hit us up on our social media. We will soon have 30framesasecond.com.
Right.
And we got some big things happening. So guys, remember this, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you are still among the stars. You get the last word, since it's your show.
Yeah, right, sure, whatever. I know I'm going to be lambasted because, once again, we did not take phone calls. There will be some shows where we take phone calls. Right. Again, the truth is that we are getting this product in order. Which means that there's a lot of technical stuff that we're working on. There's a lot of logistics we're working on, locales, editing. We got everybody working hard to bring stuff from everywhere. Right. And we're getting it together. This is your show. We want to represent. We want to represent you the way you need to be represented as the incredible people you are. Right. And with that, we.
And I want to thank one other thing. We got about 40 seconds. The crew that works with us. We really appreciate it for you guys making this happen, because you guys don't have to.
Yeah.
And you come here week after week to help Nat and I.
They're really, really good.
They're great.
You know,
They're great. They're great.
You know, but I don't say you're good if you ain't no good. But they're really.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Sheila, Veronica, Al, Lou when she ain't on her yacht. He got the plane, she got the yacht, I got the Metro car. What the hell? This is my show.
But the fact is,
Peace,
he has access. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
bud.
I know Negroes that got money.